For the ground on which you sit and stand and move and have your being is holy ground already. So even if you're in your bathroom, it means nothing. It's all about the inner experience. The Master said, you don't need to go in any special place. You don't need to go to Jerusalem, for the ground on which you sit and stand and move and have your being is holy ground already. So even if you're in your bathroom meditating, on the toilet, it doesn't matter. It's holy ground. So you can meditate in your bathroom, you can meditate in your closet, you can meditate outside, anywhere you want to go. Okay? The important thing is we have an open heart, an open soul, an open mind, an open consciousness through which we create an opening so that that spirit can do its thing. And we're going to let it do its thing in meditation. Whatever it wants to do, let it have its way. It'll always act in your highest good. It knows without your asking what you need. It's infinite wisdom. It's all power. There is no other power in this universe other than God. So if it's all power, there is nothing in the world that can prevent it from doing what needs to be done. Everything else is an appearance of power. It's an illusion of power. God doesn't battle evil. God doesn't do any of that kind of stuff. God just is. And in that light is a revelation of what is. And so we'll be creating an opening through which that light of God can flow. That grace of God can flow. That unconditional love of God can flow. To open our heart, our entire being, to an awareness of God's kingdom and who we are. So let's close our eyes. Take a few slow deep breaths. Now the mind is it's been likened to a monkey mind. It chatters and chatters and talks and talks. It never gets quiet for most of us. And a lot of times it'll keep us awake at night and wake us up. And that's been called the monkey mind. Our purpose is not to shut down the human mind. Our purpose is not to extinguish the ego. It's to put the mind and the ego at the service of spirit, so it can be guided by spirit. So if you have thoughts during the meditation, that's fine. Don't try to extinguish them. Just become an observer, a witness to those thoughts. And oftentimes, before you go into the meditation, it's a good idea to just take a saying, a spiritual truth, or a prayer into our consciousness for a moment. Contemplate it, to allow the mind to calm down, to have an anchor. So let's take into consciousness this saying, I and the Father are one, and all that the Father is, I am. So as we prepare to go into meditation, we become silent. But not silence in a sense of nothingness. A silence in the sense of openness and receptivity and allowing. As if we were listening to the most important thing you're ever going to hear in your life. No preconceived notions of what's going to happen here. No expectations. Whatever happens or doesn't happen is perfectly fine. We're here just to make an opening in consciousness to God. So Father, you already know what it is that we need. And you've brought us here today to receive that. You never withhold anything from any of us. So we open our heart, our mind, our body, and soul to your presence in the midst of us. Reveal to us our oneness with you, your kingdom, our true home. We desire our own free will to come back to your home, to our true home, to awaken to who we really are, and to bear witness to your glory and your magnificence everywhere. So we listen now in the hour, fully surrender to your will. beginning, when we're starting out, we can make the meditation very brief. 1 minute, 2 minutes. It's not about a number of minutes that we spend in meditation. It's about creating that opening in consciousness. And it's better to do that several times or a short period of time throughout the day than to do one longer session. So that more and more, that becomes more and more of our waking state of consciousness and our sleeping state of consciousness. And that consciousness becomes more and more, and all the time, 24/7. Where Paul said, praying without ceasing type of consciousness. And at the end, it's always nice to give thanks. Not that God needs our thanks, but thanks so that the outer self opens more and becomes humble in the presence of that inner self. Thanks and gratitude in our heart to that presence, which has always been there for us. It's always been watching over us. It's always been protecting us. It's always been loving us. It's always been blessing us. It's always been manifesting through ourselves, but we haven't always allowed it through. We haven't always received it. It's always been there, one with us. And in the times of difficulty and trouble, it's always been there with us. We just haven't realized it. So we're going to stay in that same place with our eyes closed, open and receptive. The Holy Spirit, Spirit of God within us. And I'm going to come around and lay hands on each one of you. It's said that whenever two or more gather together in God's name, there's a greater opening, a greater energy to Spirit. And when we come together in a group like this with a light consciousness, it creates a greater opening in consciousness. Though one with God is a majority, so any of us can do this at any time, ourselves with God, in the quiet of our own being. So just stay open, receptive. You don't need to ask God for anything. So we can each give thanks in our own hearts. That Spirit, which is always present, it's always loved us, it's always here with us. It's not a presence that we can control. We're not here to control the presence of God. We can't channel it or control it or tell it what to do. So we need to be very clear in the outer when we make that opening. It's so that it can express itself and glorify itself and reveal to us its divine plan, its divine order. So remember, no matter what you try to do, you can't control it. You can't order it around. It's not a bellhop in the sky that's going to be at your beck and call. So we have to let go of those false concepts of God. Okay? And we're not making that opening conscious that God will do something for us. And we're not praying to God, heal us. We're going to say a prayer, it's wake me up. Allow me to receive your divine light. And without any expectation of how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, or what way it's going to happen, we just observe what happens in our life, in the outer. And I can guarantee you things will start changing as you do that. I would encourage everybody on a daily basis to make this part of your life, to integrate meditation as to one of those daily routines we do every day.